What's up, guys? Just thought I'd come back here and start episode 2 of Co-Angler Corner. The one thing I want to stress right now is the mindset we have to do as a co-angler. And I'm talking about a co-angler in a tournament. I'm not talking about co-angler in your buddy's boat. I'm not talking about in a buddy team tournament that you're fishing on the weekend. I'm talking as a co-angler that you are fishing against other co-anglers, not a paired event like they have out the Western Open, the One Bass U.S. Open. I'm talking about a true pro-am type of tournament where there's pros fishing against pros and co's fishing against co's, and your weights do not matter to their overall standings. So you catch your fish, he catches his. That's what I'm talking about. Now, a lot of this, what I'm going to say, I don't mean to be offensive, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but I'm one of these blunt guys, and I just like to tell it how it is. First off, we have to know it is not a guide trip. 100% is not a guide trip. You are there to catch your fish. He is there to catch his fish, okay? And what I mean by that is because you're not catching them doesn't mean you're not around fish. It just means you haven't figured out how to catch fish given that situation. And a lot of catching fish regards around reading water and reading what the other guy is doing. So let me give you an example. Say you're going down a bank, and the one thing I hear the most of, more than anything, is, well, my guy didn't leave me any water to fish. He was backboating me all day. So I didn't have a chance to cast. Let me tell you right now, a boat, it has 360 degrees. And if you just take 180 degrees and put it to the front of the boat and 180 degrees and put it to the back of the boat, you have more than enough chance to cast. Now, there's only one instance where I can think of that might not be fair, or he's trying to really hinder you from catching fish, and that's putting you in the middle of a tule that he drove through and put you in the back where he can cast out, and the tule and all the vegetation, everything is up above your head where you can't, as a co-angler, make a cast. You can't even get your bait out a foot. Now, that would be hindering. But I'm talking about where he's just going down the bank, parallel on the bank, and he could be a foot off the bank, literally a foot off the bank, 5 foot off the bank, and going down the bank. Yes, you are not going to be able to cast up front and make that same cast that he's doing. That's part of being a co-angler. That's part of adjusting. You have to do other things. So let's say he's going down a 45-degree bank, because this scenario actually happened to me on Beaver Lake a few years ago before I turned pro. Drew a guy, he was throwing a wiggle wart down the bank, and he was literally had the trolling motor on high and was going down the bank. Now, would I have done that? No. I would have probably put the trolling motor, say, if he was just covering water and the more casts he made, yes. I probably would have put it on 50, maybe 75%, but I would not have had it 100. But that's me, and that wasn't him. That's how he was catching it. That's not how I was catching them. So how did I adjust? Well, if you've ever been to Beaver Lake, one of the biggest things is the water clarity. And so when you're only 5 feet off the bank, and I was literally 5 feet off the bank, I could have reached my pole out, touched the ground out on the shore. So I'm not kidding when I said I was 5 foot off the bank. And I could see 20 foot down. So any fish that I went over, I knew that I was not getting bit. So what did I do to adjust? Well, I don't want to throw a crankbait out the back like a wiggle wart like he was doing and missing the fish or get the fish that he was missing. I decided to do something a little bit different. Those wiggle warts, those old wiggle warts are really, really expensive. They're hard to come by, the ones that just run that right way, they get that bigger fish. I don't want to lose those, and my boater's not going to go back every time I get hung up on a wiggle wart. So what did I do to change? Well, I was thinking, well, what could I do? I could throw a swim bait out the back. Well, I tried that for a while. That didn't work. And the whole time I'm throwing that swim bait out the back, and I'm literally throwing as far as I can, letting line out, letting line out until I'm just barely clicking that bottom, okay? And then what I would do is I just kind of pop it off the bottom as I'm going by it at 100 miles an hour. I just kind of give it a little flutter, and it would take it a little bit to fall down, and then it'd start kicking again and go again. But that's how I adjusted. So I wasn't catching any doing that, but I'm thinking, okay, well, a wiggle wart is imitating a craw. Well, what else imitates a craw? A jig with a trailer. So what did I do? I pulled out a 3/8 and a half ounce jig, put a craw trailer on it, and I threw it out the back again. Literally, as far as I can, reel up till I'm just barely clicking that bottom. And what I did was every time I hit a piece of rock or wood or whatever that was down there, I'd give my rod a little snap. What did I do in that tournament? Well, I didn't catch many fish. I got 3 fish on that day. But those 3 fish, they weighed close to 9 pounds. And I ended up finishing that tournament in 22nd place just by adjusting to what was given. That's not griping that I was 5 foot off the bank. Yeah, I did tell him that, hey man, I wouldn't be going this fast, and I said I probably wouldn't be exactly this close, and I wouldn't. But that's how he was catching fish. And you got to realize, every guy you get in the boat with is going to fish the same water, just a little bit different. Okay, so just have the mindset that you have to adjust and you have to be how do I want to say this? You just have to adjust to what's given you and be able to read the water that's there. There's certain baits, certain times of the year, they're going to work better than other times. So just knowing seasonal patterns and doing a little bit of research on the body of water that you're going to will do huge dividends when you're on the water in the situation, trying to read the water that's there and for you to be able to compete. So I hope you like this. I'm going to do a little bit more in depth coming up. Stay tuned. I hope you like more from my Co-Angler's Corner. Thanks.